In this lesson, we'll be covering the Hackerrank easy rated algorithm sequence equation. This is kind of a funky question, but essentially we are provided an array. And for the length of the array, we get all of the values as items up to the length of that array. So the length of this array is 5. Inside of this array will be every number from 1 to 5. And that could happen for any length. If it were 100, there would be values from 1 to 100 to match the length of the array. And if there were just 1, it would be an array with 1 item, and it would just be 1. Okay, so we know that the values of 1 through 5 are going to exist in this array. This question is saying that for each value, we want to find what its position is, and then we want to find where the value equal to that position is. And we want to store that position. Kind of funky. Okay, so first example. We'll start with the value of 1. And we'll do this in every scenario. This is how they want us to go. They want us to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth, depending on the length of the array. So value 1, we start with value 1. Where does value 1 happen? Well, value 1 happens at the third position in this array. You'll notice that it's actually the index plus 1, because the index where 1 happens is the value of 2, so you would do 2 plus 1 to get this 3 value. Okay, so now second part. We've got that value 1 happens at position 3 in our array. It then asks us, where is the value of 3 held? The value that matches this index. Well, the value of 3 is held at position 4. We would take that 4 and add it to an array, and we would store it there, and that's what our answer will be. So I hope you're following. If not, continue to check out this list. It will explain it. Just keep reading through it. I'm sure it will catch on eventually. And now we will head over to Replit and start to get to work. Okay, so we've got our array set up. And first things first, it's kind of obvious that we will be looping from 1 to 5 and finding those values in our array. So how can we write that out? We can write for n in range 1 to 5. Well, no, it wouldn't be 5. It would be 6 because it is 1 greater than the array. But how could we represent that so no matter how long p is, it winds up right there? Well, we can do end. We'll write end because it's the end of our range. End equals len p. And we'll just go ahead and add the plus 1 right here. And then we can change this to end. So what would this be in the scenario? Well, end length of p is 5, so we do 5 plus 1, and that would become our end. This value would be 6. Okay, so we have established our end, and we will need one other thing. We need an answer array to hold all of those answers that we get as we loop through this range. Okay, so I'm going to write some pseudocode here. What would the first n be? Well, the first n would be 1. N equals 1. Where does 1 happen? 1 happens at position 4, index 3 plus 1. And what do I mean by that? So we know that n is 1. It's the first number we'll go through. It's the first value we will look for. Value 1 happens at position 4. And in Python terms, what is position 4? Position 4 is index 3 plus 1. Okay, so we've got that. And then what is the second part? It's saying, where is value 4? Value 4 happens at position 1. Store position 1. Okay, briefly, so we know that we've got position 4 as where we left off in the first line. We are then asked, where does value 4 happen? Value 4 happens at position 1. index 0 plus 1, and we will store position 1 and eventually return it. I mean store it as in add it to this array here to store that value. Okay, what the heck do we do then? Okay, so for n in range 1 to n, we should probably set a value, let's call it the n value, where we are finding the index of where our n value happens. So where does n value 1 happen? Well, it happens at position 4. How can we write that? Well, there's a method, there's a function in Python that lets us find the index where a value occurs. And you would write it like this. You do p.index, and you would search for the value. What value are we looking for? We're looking at the value of n. But of course, as I've mentioned a couple times previously, we don't want the index value. We want the index value plus 1. Okay, so now we've got our n value. And what will that be? That will be 4. So now let's go ahead and try to find the value of 4 and add 1 to where the value of 4 happens and add that to our answer array. So where does the value of 4 happen? p.index of our value, our n val, remember we've stored 4 as our n val, and we'll want to, of course, add 1 because it's following the same pattern. It's the index plus 1. We can go ahead and answer.append that value. All right, so let's go ahead and print our answer as we're looping through this array. Oh, looks like we've got an issue here. It's not liking our end. Interesting. Oh, we need our colon. Okay, sorry about that. Little syntactical errors, they happen, they will always happen. But there you go, we are returning our array, our new array that we've built out with the positions. It's kind of funky to say this, with the positions of the value that represents the index of the value in question. So value in question is 1, that happens at position 4. Where does the value of 4 happen? Well, that happens at position 1. You store that in the array. So we will go ahead and copy and paste all this over to Hackerrank. Let's get it over here. Let's get everything lined up properly. We can leave our pseudocode in there. And of course, we will want to, at the end, return answer, not print it within the loop. Let's go ahead and run this code, see if it's working all right, and perfect, it does. Passes our sample test cases. Go ahead and run the code against all of our test cases. This took a while last time, not sure why. It'll probably take a while again. How's everybody doing today? Awesome. There we go. So I hope that's clear. I hope it's making sense. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this lesson, please go ahead and hit the like button. And we post these videos all the time. So if you're a fan of algorithms, go ahead and hit subscribe. And we hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.